You're listening to AI Signals, Daily Dose. Imagine you've just deployed an AI agent inside your company. It can browse the web, it can call APIs, it can write code, it can access your internal databases, and someone just tricked it into emailing your entire customer list to a stranger, using nothing but a carefully worded sentence hidden inside a document. That's not science fiction. That's the security nightmare keeping every enterprise AI team up at night. And 2 days ago, OpenAI made the biggest move yet to solve it. They bought the company that more Fortune 500 companies trust to hack test their AI than anyone else. And by the end of this episode, you'll understand exactly what that company built, why OpenAI had to have it, and what it tells us about where this entire industry is heading. This is your Daily Dose. Today we're doing a deep dive on OpenAI's acquisition of Promptfoo. We'll break down what this tool actually does and why it matters so much, why OpenAI needed it right now, and how this fits into their broader strategy of buying their way into enterprise dominance. Let's get into it. So first, what is Promptfoo and where did it come from? The story starts with a guy named Ian Webster. He was leading the LLM engineering team at Discord, shipping AI features to 200 million users. And he kept running into the same problem. Every time his team wanted to deploy an AI feature, they'd have to manually test whether someone could trick it into doing something dangerous. Could a user get the AI to leak private data? Could they make it ignore its safety instructions? Could they get it to promise things the company couldn't deliver? The testing process was slow, manual, and honestly, it was designed for a different era. These were tools built for traditional software, not for AI systems that can be manipulated with natural language. So in 2024, Webster and his co-founder, Michael D'Angelo, built Promptfoo. And the core idea is elegantly simple. Promptfoo is an automated adversary for your AI. You point it at your LLM application, whether that's a chatbot, an agent, or a retrieval augmented generation system, and it tries to break it, systematically, across over 50 different vulnerability types. Here's how it actually works. You configure a target, which is the AI system you want to test. Then you select from a library of plugins, which are essentially attack generators. Each plugin produces adversarial inputs designed to exploit a specific type of vulnerability. Prompt injections, jailbreaks, data exfiltration attempts, PII leaks, policy violations, situations where your AI might promise users things it can't deliver. The system fires these attacks at your AI, records what happens, and grades the results. But here's what makes Promptfoo genuinely different from a simple test suite. It doesn't just run static attacks. It has what they call a target discovery agent that first analyzes your AI system to understand what it can do, what it has access to, and what its boundaries are supposed to be. Then, it crafts attacks specifically tailored to your application. And when an attack succeeds, the system records exactly why it worked, and uses that insight to generate even more targeted follow-up attacks. Think of it as an AI red team that gets smarter as it goes. The multi-turn attack strategies are particularly clever. Instead of trying to break your AI with a single message, Promptfoo can simulate an attacker who engages in a long conversation, slowly steering the AI away from its guardrails over multiple exchanges. These extended conversations are actually how most real-world attacks on AI systems work in practice. Nobody just types, "ignore your instructions." They build trust. They find edge cases. They gradually escalate. And the whole thing plugs directly into your development pipeline. You can run these tests in your CI/CD system so that every time your team pushes a code change, the AI gets automatically stress tested before it reaches production. No manual review. No hoping someone remembers to check for jailbreaks. It caught on fast. Over 350,000 developers have used Promptfoo. 130,000 are active every month. And more than 25% of Fortune 500 companies rely on it. The company had raised about $23 million in funding, with a valuation of about $85.5 million after their Series A last July, led by Insight Partners. All right, so that's what Promptfoo does. Now here's the question. Why does OpenAI need this so badly that they bought the whole company? The answer comes down to one word: agents. On February 5th, 2026, OpenAI launched Frontier. It's their enterprise platform, and the pitch is that AI agents aren't just tools, they're digital coworkers. Frontier lets companies deploy agents that can browse the web, call APIs, write and execute code, and access company databases with minimal human oversight. Uber, State Farm, Intuit, and Thermo Fisher Scientific are already customers. In late February, OpenAI announced the Frontier Alliance program, partnering with Accenture, McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group, and Capgemini to help enterprises adopt the platform. But here's the catch. The more capable you make an agent, the more dangerous it becomes when something goes wrong. An AI that can only answer questions has a limited blast radius. An AI that can browse the web and call APs, that's a completely different risk profile. Prompt injection becomes data exfiltration. Jailbreaking becomes unauthorized actions. A hallucinated response goes from being embarrassing to being operationally harmful. Enterprise CIOs know this, and it's the single biggest reason companies hesitate to deploy AI agents at scale. Not because the technology doesn't work, but because they can't prove it's safe. They can't audit it. They can't show their board or their regulators that they've tested for the attacks that matter. That's the gap Promptfoo fills. With Promptfoo's capabilities built natively into Frontier, OpenAI can now offer enterprises something no other AI platform can: automated, continuous security testing as a built-in feature of the deployment platform itself. Not a third-party tool you have to bolt on, not a manual review process, a native capability. You build your agent, you test it against 50-plus vulnerability types, and you deploy it, all within the same platform. And the timing matters. Just this month, OpenAI also released GPT 5.4 with native computer use capabilities and a 1 million token context window. They released Codex, security for AI-assisted vulnerability detection. Every one of these announcements makes agents more powerful, and every increase in power requires a matching increase in security. Promptfoo is the matching increase. Now, let's zoom out. Because this acquisition doesn't exist in a vacuum, 3 weeks before the Promptfoo deal, OpenAI hired Peter Steinberger, the creator of OpenClaw. That's the open source AI agent that went from a weekend project to the most starred software project on all of GitHub in just a few months. 250,000 stars, 2 million weekly users. Steinberger joined OpenAI to, and this is a quote from Sam Altman, drive the next generation of personal agents. That was the talent. Promptfoo is the trust layer. And before that, you've got the $6.4 billion acquisition of IO, Johnny Ive's hardware startup. The attempted $3 billion purchase of Windsurf, the AI coding tool. The acquisition of Rockset for data infrastructure. The acquisition of Torch in healthcare. Every deal fills a different layer of the stack, and they've got the cash to keep going. OpenAI closed a $110 billion funding round in February at a valuation of around $730 billion. Here's what this means for the broader industry. If you're an AI startup building security tools, evaluation platforms, or agent infrastructure, you are now either a potential acquisition target or a future competitor to a bundled feature. That's the platform playbook. Microsoft did it with Office, Salesforce did it with the CRM ecosystem, and now OpenAI is doing it with enterprise AI. The open source question is real too. Promptfoo's open source tools will remain available. OpenClaw is transitioning to an independent foundation. But history tells us that when the lead developer of an open source project joins a company with $700 billion ambitions, the community's priorities and the company's priorities start to diverge. The company to watch is Anthropic. They've taken the opposite approach. No major acquisitions. Build the tools in-house. Make the model the platform. Claude Code for developers. Native safety features baked into the model itself. It's a leaner, more focused bet, and 2026 is going to tell us which strategy, buy the stack or build it, actually wins in enterprise AI. So here's the big takeaway. The Promptfoo acquisition isn't just about one startup. It's the moment OpenAI declared that the real competition in AI isn't about who has the smartest model. It's about who can make enterprises trust that model enough to hand it real power. Because the company that solves enterprise trust at scale is the company that owns the next decade of AI deployment. And OpenAI just bought themselves a very big head start. Keep an eye on how Frontier performs over the next few months. If the Promptfoo integration lands well, expect a wave of similar acquisitions across the industry. Everyone is going to need a security story. And right now, OpenAI just bought the best one. If you found this useful, share it with someone building or deploying AI agents. I'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, stay curious.